back in the city of Washington. When you look at him, what are you going to say? Hello, General. Because most of those guys are generals. The only time it's not a general is when the horse is alive. If it's a living. Aladdin and his wonderful lamp, when the news came from the stage that his father had been shot at Ford's Theater. Now, if you've ever seen the movie Lincoln, that very end of the movie, where the announcement happens, that would have happened in that theater right there. The theater is haunted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think this might be all about? We're having a Million Man March tomorrow. And these folks look like they're part of it. Well, I'm going to suggest that the folks that are organizing it, they're staying in the Marriott behind them. This is the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. It'll be tomorrow. I suspect that they have a lot of displays that show you the different things that are in the White House. They have some video that show you the Treasury Department is blocking your view of the White House, just like Andrew Jackson wanted. Because there's not supposed to be anything blocking your view of the White House. But when Andrew Jackson was listening to everybody argue about where to put the Treasury building, he walked outside and said, "Put it right there." That's where it is. Blocking his view of Congress. Well, as he would have said, I don't want to see those scallywags in Congress. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change the way we do business.
نگفتی که من داشتم چرا موقع من نگفتی؟
Are you closing down Pennsylvania Avenue? No, I can go around you. Alright. You're not closing down Pennsylvania.
ببین اونجاست من الان بالا پشت اون فاصله دیدم خیابونه بعد بریم مستقیم فاصله
On the right hand side, this is William Tecumseh Sherman, Union General in the Civil War. William Tecumseh Sherman, sitting up there. Sherman was successful at the Battle of Atlanta. I mean, successful. It was brutal. And it helped put the writing on the wall that this war was going to end soon as far as the Civil War was concerned. William Tecumseh Sherman marched the army down Pennsylvania Avenue at the end of the war in 2 days. 2 days is the longest parade in the history of Pennsylvania Avenue. They came down the street here. And then he marched them down the street again for James Garfield's inaugural parade. Right-hand side, there's the White House Visitor Center inside the Commerce Department. Left-hand side, Willard Hotel. The Willard is haunted. Guess who haunts the Willard Hotel? You know him. Ulysses S. Grant.
دستت نیفته بود.
20th President of the United States. 18th President of the United States. Haunts the Willard Hotel. Right-hand side, again, here's the White House. There's Alexander Shepard, first territorial governor of Washington, D.C. Left-hand side again, Freedom Plaza. Red Wing fan over here on the right-hand side. Up ahead on the right-hand side, here's the International Trade Center, followed by the Environmental Protection Agency, building named after two of our former presidents, Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton. We're on Pennsylvania Avenue. All the way down at the end of the road there is our Capitol building. The Capitol building was built as the largest building in the United States of America. It was the largest building in the country. It was built up on a hilltop that we look up to. One of the things that we protect in the city is the sight lines allowing us to see the Capitol building from all over the place. We have nice wide streets and we have road buildings. We have a height restriction law in Washington that keeps the buildings at about 130 feet.
اون موقعی که میساختن.
So if you look down the street, the buildings look like they're all pretty close to the same height. They are. They build up to the height restriction. If it's a residential building, it can only be 90 feet tall. Now the north side of Pennsylvania Avenue is allowed to be a little bit taller because the street is a little bit wider. The rule is the buildings can be 20 feet taller than the width of the street that they're on. That's the FBI headquarters on the left-hand side. This J. Andrew building. J. Andrew said that was the ugliest building he'd ever seen in his life. He said, "You're going to name that building after me over my dead body." 6 days after he died.
بای بای کن با اینا که تو اینجا راه میرن
Think that that's what he wanted, right?
با مردمی که تو پیاده رو میبینی همشون بای بای کن چی؟ با اینکه اونا هم با تو بای بای میکنن
On the head on the right hand side, our guy for the United States of America is South Lumber. All right, ladies and gentlemen, watch your step as you leave me. This is stop number 3. It is the National Archives on the right-hand side. Watch your step as you leave me. National Archives. Ladies and gentlemen, watch your step. My friends, watch your step as you leave. See you later. Take care. Have a great day. My friends, and every great lake is incorporated into that memorial. I know, right? You can't tell the difference. I was like, that specific. No, you can't tell. Left-hand side, there's General Hancock. Over on the left-hand side, there's Temperance Fountain. That's the fountain that has a crane on the top. Temperance fountains were put up all around the United States and cities during Prohibition to remind people to drink water, not alcohol. Ironically, the fountain is now dry, but the bars behind it are doing very well. There's an obelisk over there on the left-hand side. That's the Grand Army of the Republic Memorial. Behind that, there's a big building with 2 towers. That is the National Council of Negro Women. There's their headquarters. The building used to be a Matthew Brady, of course, one of the early practitioners of the art of photography. A lot of famous people would have gone in there to get their pictures taken. Federal Trade Commission on the right-hand side. All the way over on the right-hand side is the West building of the National Gallery. First Amendment to our Constitution, sitting outside of the museum. And friends, there is the Canadian Embassy on the left-hand side. The Canadian Embassy is the only foreign embassy with a long National Gallery runs 2 buildings. Contemporary art. Left-hand side is Judiciary Square. So we have a 4-block area full of courthouses and buildings that support the courthouses here in Washington. We have a lot of courthouses in Washington. This, the Prettyman Courthouse on the left-hand side, has General Meade up front. The Prettyman Courthouse has judges that are appointed by the President of the United States. Weapons and to defend himself from perjury. I know. On the left-hand side, you can see the Senate does not. You can tell because flags fly from the buildings when they're in session. The House is currently trying to find someone to be the Speaker of the House. A lot of people left-hand side is the Senate. Every state has 2 senators. On the right-hand side is the House of Representatives. There are 435 members of the House. They represent congressional districts. Surrounding our Capitol building is a park designed by Frederick Douglass. It's a beautiful place. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in visiting the Capitol today, you can walk over from Union Station to the east front of the Capitol. At the east front of the Capitol, there's a visitor center. You can go and tour the building. Costs you nothing. You can also tour the Library of Congress and the Supreme Court. Costs you nothing. Walk over from Union Station. Spend an hour of your day going inside. The coolest buildings you're ever going to go in. That's why I'm saying. And if you know your senator or your House member, you might be able to get yourself tickets to go and watch a work today. Left-hand side, Japanese American Memorial. Patriotism started World War II. And the Teamsters Union headquarters on the left-hand side. So this is Union Station is right in front of us. And that's our next stop. It's stop number 4. Again, you can walk over to this building from Union Station. Now we do have a stop that is at the Capitol, however that's on the other side of the Capitol. And if you wanted to visit the Capitol, you have to walk around from the west to the east to go to the visitor center. I suggest walking straight over from Union Station. You don't have to walk up the hill because you're already on the top of the hill. And you don't have to walk around the building, you just have to walk up to it. So I would walk right down Delaware Avenue like these folks are walking back, right? I would just walk right down the road here. Now if you look down Delaware Avenue to the left, you're going to see Christopher Columbus.
بای بای کن با
And there's Christopher Columbus. If you follow his gaze right down there, you're going to walk into the east front of the Capitol. You're going to walk into the Library of Congress and the Supreme Court. All of their visitors yeah, Union Station has a food court downstairs. It has food upstairs. There's shopping areas all over the place. There's sit-down restaurants, fast food restaurants, coffee shops, bagel shops, and Old Town trolleys out in front. Yay! I heard no cheering. Thank you. We also have the duck tours out front too, so if you're interested in taking a tour with our ducks, half of your tours in the water, half of your tours on land, but you stay in the same vehicle. They are the World War II amphibious vehicle. There you go, Union Station, ladies and gentlemen, again. Second largest train station in the United States, most visited building in Washington. It's a very busy place. Christopher Columbus Memorial across the street on the left-hand side. The flags that are surrounding us are the flags of the United States of America. And our territories. Starting with Delaware, our first state, we're going to go all the way around until we get to Hawaii 5-0. And the District of Columbia is in our territory. There's the Thurgood Marshall Building on the right. That's Judicial Building. It's named after the first African-American President. Beyond that is the Security and Exchange Commission Building, just down on the other side. The three flags that fly behind Christopher Columbus, they represent his three ships. Nina, Pinta, Starship Enterprise. Whose 5-year mission? No, it's Santa Maria, of course. So friends, if you're going to hop off of the trolley over here at Union Station, please wait till I get up to the front. You can see the ducks are there. Again, there's a lot of food opportunities. And if you're going to visit the Capitol today, my suggestion is visit the Capitol from here.
Marshall Federal Judiciary Building مال قوه قضاییه.
There's a big bell over there on the left-hand side. That's the Freedom Bell. Freedom Bell is a replica of our Liberty Bell. Of course, it's not an exact replica. Freedom Bell is actually larger than the Liberty Bell. Has the same marking, it's the same bell foundry. However, ours is not correct. Alright, this is stop number 4, Union Station, Capitol Complex, and that building up in front of us is the Postal Museum, another free Smithsonian museum you can go to while you're here in Washington. The Postal Museum, right down the road, right there in front of you. So, Postal Museum, Union Station, Capitol Building. Watch your step as you leave, please. Ladies and gentlemen, stop number 4. See ya, you're welcome. Bye now. Yep, see you later. Bye, bye, bye. See you later. That's what I'm going to do. You're very welcome. Take care. Section of our city over here. A lot of hotels down here near the train station. Here to the Capitol Complex. Remember our city when it began in 1800. This was mostly farmland. Washington didn't grow up out of a natural trade route like other places do. It was a design city. The two cities that were here that became incorporated into the capital were Alexandria, which is now Alexandria, Virginia, and Georgetown, which was then Maryland. When they designed our city, they took a little bit of Virginia and a little bit of Maryland, they put them together and they made it nice. But since then, all of the Virginia property has been given back to Virginia, right? It's retroceded. And that happened just before the Civil War. So when you look at our city, it's an incomplete diamond, right? And so all of what would be Washington was formerly the state of Maryland.
Yes.
But in 1800, we became the capital of the country. A 10-mile diamond city was big at the time. The largest city in the Western world was London, and it was an 8-mile square city. So what we created, area-wise, was the largest city in the Western world. Population-wise, that's another story. London was almost 1 million people. Our population was just around 3,000. Mostly cows. 19 farms were incorporated to make our city, right? 19 individual farms were purchased by George Washington. Washington, Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, and Thomas Jefferson laying out the groundwork for it. L'Enfant decides, after a year of working on the project, that things aren't going his way. He decided to leave. And a gentleman named Benjamin Banneker has the whole map of the city. Their Washington Bureau broadcast out of the green glass building up in front of us. C-SPAN is the country's congressional television station. If you have cable, you have C-SPAN, right? Senate and House of Representatives, whenever they're in session, it's broadcast. It might seem boring, but it's kind of this when you're watching it and someone is speaking, you think, wow, a lot of people are sitting there listening to this man speak or this woman speak. In truth, they might be in there all by themselves speaking to a camera. That happens more than you think. If you ever get a chance to go in and watch Congress work, it's a very eye-opening experience. On the right-hand side again, so this is where the news is broadcast from. There's your Capitol building, and I know you're going to see there's scaffolding all around it. And they put that up there just for you. The scaffolding is because they're repairing the Capitol building. You can find the Japanese American Memorial Patriotism during World War II on the right-hand side. This memorial recognizes that during World War II, Japanese American citizens were placed in prison camps. There's 10 prison camp names over there. Underneath are the number of citizens held in the camps. Add them all up, it's over 100,000. The statue that you see in the middle there shows cranes that are trying to take flight and they're being held down by barbed wire. Now the memorial is for patriotism. What you're going to find over there on the right-hand side is all the names of all of the Japanese American soldiers that fought and died in World War II. There was a company of Japanese American soldiers during World War II. They were the only company that had a 0 desertion rate. 0. Patriotism. The stones represent the islands of Japan. Looking down New Jersey. Go around the east front there and take a look at it. What does it say? Senate office buildings. There's the Russell, the Dirksen, and then the Hart. Richard Russell's building is the first, the oldest of the three. It has a duplicate on the House of Representatives sign. This is from early 1900s when they were building these big European-style buildings here in Washington. One of the things that you'll notice is that as you go down the building, there's 2 sets of windows. And when you come to the corners, there's one big window. Early on, they discovered that a Senate eagle wouldn't fit into a small office. And they had to build these big offices. Underneath them, there's transportation. The Senate staff goes from the here on the left, underneath us over here. Beyond that, and then after that we're going to have our Supreme Court. 3 branches of the government. Legislative branch, 9 justices, 8 of them are associates, 1 of them is the Chief Justice. They hear 80 to 100 cases every year. They don't hear criminal law, they hear constitutional law. You can visit the building if you like. Don't go up the stairs, go at either side of the staircase. You can go into the building. And at 1:30 or 2:30, they'll give you a lecture on the Supreme Court. They used to inaugurate the President of the United States. They don't anymore. This is where from Andrew Jackson to Jimmy Carter will inaugurate over here. There's the visitor center, just right on down there. Left-hand side is the Library of Congress. Truly one of the Neptune Fountain, King Neptune Fountain on the left. This building is modeled after the Opera House in Paris. The Thomas Jefferson building of the Library of Congress on the left. Thomas Jefferson, whose library was purchased by Congress after the
نه بابایی میخوایم بریم تو کل شهر رو بگردیم بعدا با مامانی پاتو نرفم بعدا با مامانی میریم خرید.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, 7. There's a lot of art galleries that are part of the Smithsonian Institution. The Joseph Hirshhorn Contemporary Gallery, that circular building that's coming up on the right-hand side. Beyond that, we have other buildings. We have the Smithsonian Castle, the first of the Smithsonian Institution buildings. We have the Smithsonian Castle. Beyond that, we have the Freer and the Sackler art galleries. Those are Asian art galleries. We have the African art gallery, that's art from Africa. African art gallery has a huge collection of art collected by Milton. On the left-hand side, these are Federal Aviation buildings. These are part of the Department of Transportation. These buildings are named after Orville and Wilbur Wright. On the left-hand side, you can see the towers of the Arts and Industry building. This was the second of the Smithsonian Museum. This building comes to us from 1879, but it really, that's when it was built, but it really wasn't opened until the inauguration of James Garfield. Garfield's inauguration. His inaugural ball opened this building in January 1881. And then all of the industry, all of the technology of the time was put inside this building. This building came to us after our 100th anniversary. We had a big party, a centennial party in Philadelphia, and all of the technology at the time was on display, and then eventually made its way into this museum. Currently it's being revitalized on the inside. The outside work was done last year, and they're doing the inside work this year. Left-hand side, there's the energy department. On the right-hand side, that is the National Museum of African Art on the right. National Museum of African Art is bigger than it looks. It actually goes underground and it goes underneath the gardens that are over here on the right, and it meets up with the Sackler Gallery, which is right across there. That also looks like it's smaller than it really is. So when you go inside the building, they actually go underground and take up a lot of space. There's the House Gardens in the middle of it, a beautiful area, and that leads up to the Smithsonian Castle. That is the first of the Smithsonian, and that's from 1857. James Renwick designed that building to look like a castle. You can go in the building, you can look around,
Go all the way
and you'll see the remains of James Simpson are in there.
یه دور کل شهر رو میزنه بعد بعد با ماشین میریم یه رستوران خوشمزه
Freer Gallery.
Huh?
There's another Asian art gallery, and it also has the work of James. My friend, Washington Monument and the Holocaust Memorial Museum are as close as I get right here with all those museums that we just passed. And there's the Farmers Market up ahead on the right. Go get yourself a couple of apples and come on back. Stop. Largest dollar bill that we use, ladies and gentlemen, is $100 bill. I know. I would love a couple of Thomas Jefferson, please watch your step as you leave me. Stop. Number 8. See you later, friends. Watch your step as stop number 11. This trolley does not go to stop number 11. If you want to go to Arlington, you have to get on the trolley that shuttles from Abraham Lincoln to Arlington. That's all it does. And it goes back and forth all day long. Over here on the right-hand side, this is the Korean War veterans. The other side. This is the walkway that we're pulling up against right over here. Now let me hop off. We're going to hop off along this walkway. On the other side of Abraham Lincoln's memorial here is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. The Korean War Veterans Memorial is right over there. We just looked at it. And then we have the reflecting tools right in front. This little trolley that you see over on the left-hand side, the orange and green one, that is the Arlington National Cemetery shuttle. Over on the left is the John Erickson Memorial. In front of us is the Memorial Bridge. The Memorial Bridge is the bridge that goes into Arlington National Cemetery. So you look for that shuttle over there on the left, right over here, Abraham Lincoln Memorial, if you're interested in Arlington National Cemetery. Abraham Lincoln Memorial is a big green absolute memorial right in front of you. Abraham Lincoln's Memorial was dedicated in 1922 to the 16th President of the United States of America. Abraham Lincoln was the first president who was assassinated. Now the bathroom is Abraham Lincoln on the left-hand side of the memorial as you're walking up the stairs. Don't go up the stairs. Go on the left-hand side of the staircase where you will find the bathroom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abraham Lincoln. Please watch the steps as you hop off the trolley. Where do I go?
A dream of South Africa. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm getting older. Yeah, I used to write the short boards and stuff. Now I write long boards. Oh. Yeah. No, not there yet.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
And right-hand side, the first step is coming up on your left-hand side is the one in the top of the hill. Left-hand side is the small tent retreat division.
Oh yeah.
First and second are marched to stage 8, immediately lift, south of the White House. Third, they mentioned that here as for the Arlington National Stadium. Then at your 9 o'clock, on your left-hand side is the alarm. I'm still looking for statues or carved in stone. But other than that, how else would you know
ازم پدرش روزی خوشم شما من اینجا رفتم
شهر دانشگاه سعید
یه تور چیز داره این مینیبوس داره واسه تور هم
اوه آره اینجا هم یه مینیبوس داره فکر کنم میتونی بری تور داخلیش.
National Cemetery metro stop here, by the way. You have to make your way to the cemetery once again. You can hop on the Arlington National Cemetery. If you want to go to the National Mall, the stop is right there on the National Mall at the USDA. Right inside is the
روزی دو روزشون نه 69 دلار تخفیف الان اونجوری خیلی گرون میشه. من کلش رو 200 خورده دادم. آره
بوستون بود 30 خیلی کوچک‌تر یه روز 65
نه یه روزش همش آخه آپشن همش چیز داشت همش تخفیف داشت. اون رقمایی که میزنه بعد همش تخفیف داشت. تخفیفش هم همیشه نداری؟ از اینجا هم تا مثلا محل کار 10 دقیقه.
این پایین جلسه نزدیک
آقا مصطفی
من هم میخوام بگیرم چون آره کلافه واسه در میارم سفارش شدی که نگیزم حالا ببین بارون میاد بارون میاد
ماشین کجا داری میری؟
آرلینگتون بولوارد
When you get the picture of the Eagle Street Memorial on your right-hand side, on the opportunity When I say get it, you say good. When I say get it, you say God. When I say get it, you say
پلیس میاد گاردت میکنه
Here comes a helicopter right at us. Look at this. It's gonna pass right overhead. Those are always government helicopters. Those are not civilian. Nobody is allowed to fly a helicopter over the wall like that. Here we're coming back to the Martin Luther King Memorial. Ahead of us on the right at this intersection. And here on the left side, this is the World War I Memorial. The inscription says that it is dedicated to the veterans from Washington, D.C. Here comes another great view. As we go over the Cuts Bridge here, we're going to go right through the tidal basin. See the Jefferson Memorial over to the right and the Washington Monument ahead of us on the left. This historians are in agreement that George Washington was the second greatest of all presidents. Slightly behind Abraham. Washington had a tremendous the United States was bankrupt when he came into office.
made many good decisions all throughout his term of office. He kept the United States out of the war between France and Britain. He set up the structure of the executive branch, the cabinets, the State Department, the War Department, and the Treasury Department. And he set the example of only running for the office twice and then stepping down and letting somebody else have a shot. There were many who said he should just stay in office until he died. But that is not what he wanted. And that is not what they had in mind when they created the Constitution. George Washington. This statue coming up here on the left is John Paul Jones of the Revolutionary War. He is the one who said, "I have not yet begun to fight." Now here is the World War II Memorial on our left. And at night, this spot right here, I think, is the most beautiful spot in the District of Columbia. To the far left, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial. This is the World War II Memorial. The Washington Monument. To the far right, you see the dome of the Capitol. So you can see all of the National Mall buildings here at night. Everything is lit up after dark. It's very beautiful. So if you haven't seen the night tour, haven't taken the night tour, haven't seen the city at night, you might want to think of it.
Susie, Washington what? The right.
What's that?
What's the right buildings? The buildings on the right side.
I'll talk about those when we get there. So here is the Lincoln Memorial. And look across the field here to the right. This brown building is the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And this is a good time to think about American slavery and Abraham Lincoln. American slavery lasted for 246 years, from 1619 to 1865. 10 generations of people. And to give you another comparison, the Constitution of the United States is not yet 246 years old. So when Lincoln came to office, slavery was woven through the fabric of America in many, many ways. And it was a difficult thing to make slavery disappear from America. But that is what he accomplished. And the first step was the Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln signed the proclamation in the White House, and that's coming up next. Right at this next intersection where this traffic is stopped. When we get to that spot, the White House will be on our left side. He signed the proclamation on New Year's Day of 1863, right in the middle of the Civil War. And it was the biggest change ever brought about in the United States by a presidential action. The elimination of American slavery. Here is the White House. You can see it coming into view already through the trees. This is the south lawn of the White House. The south portico that we're looking at. This is the side where the helicopter comes in for landing. Now these buildings ahead of us on the left are the start of the Federal Triangle. This is a big wedge-shaped piece of land that goes from 15th Street here all the way down to 6th Street. And they're mostly these classical style government office buildings. And most of them were built in the administration of Franklin Roosevelt. The first building in the next corner is the Commerce Department, which we saw earlier in the tour. The building beyond it with the peaked roof is the Environmental Protection Agency. Here ahead on the right, you can see the African American Museum. start working on the landscaping outside the building, and that's what's going on here now. Here on the right, you see the Washington Monument. There are 50 flags around the base of the Washington Monument. The 50 flags symbolize the 50 states. And the flags of the tower together form a wonderful symbol of George Washington as the father of the United States. Washington, D.C. is a beautiful city, and you can appreciate it during the day, but you can really appreciate it at night when everything is lit up in the dark. But it wasn't always so. In the 19th century, Washington, D.C. was not a beautiful city at all. And in fact, there was a serious movement to move the capital from Washington to St. Louis. And it was serious. It had majority support in Congress. But the idea was ultimately done to death by President U.S. Grant. Grant said that the only way he would sign a bill to move the capital would be if it had 2/3 majority support in both the House and the Senate. And that didn't kill the idea because even though it was pretty popular, it wasn't that popular. Now, the building coming up on the right is the American History Museum, and that will be stop number 12.
میخوان یه دور کامل بزنیم بعد از اینجا نزدیکتر رو فکر کنم فکر کنم از اینجا نزدیکتر رو خیلی مطلوبه
And so here we are, this is stop number 12, American History. This next building on the left is the Internal Revenue Service. There you go, folks. Anybody got something good they want to say about IRS? Here on the right, the Natural History Museum. Stop number 13. This is a fantastic museum. They have the Hope Diamond here. Look on the right side, you see a picture of the Hope Diamond, this big blue diamond. One of the most famous gemstones in the world. And this will be stop number 13. And the next stop will be 14, the Museum and the West Gallery of Art.